Welcome, citizens of Gotham, to The Fire Rises, a Batman podcast focused on all things the Dark Knight and the DC Universe. If you'd like to connect with the show, you can find us on most of the social media platforms. Just search tfrbatpod, and we are there. If you'd like to reach out to the show to provide any comments, questions, concerns, feedback, or suggestions for future episodes of this show, you can do that by shooting us an email. You can send those to tfrbatpod@gmail.com. My name is Eric Carter, and I am your host, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime, my co-host, Joe Fornerado. Joe, we have a super topic here today. So how are you, my friend?
I'm better than the person in the topic, I guess.
Very
We're
true. Very
lucky to be
true.
alive. Happy to be
Yes.
alive. We are good to go. Sorry I left you waiting a little bit, but we're ready to go now. Little hectic Monday afternoon here.
Well, the good thing is when you click a download and just hit play, you have no idea of
No.
any of that. So unless you tell them like you just did, Joe, they were just everything went off without a hitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are here, of course, today to talk about if you saw the title of the episode, you know we're here to talk all about Superman, specifically a very somber time in the history of Superman, but an amazing comics event. We're, of course, talking about the death of Superman. Now, before we get there, of course, we can't move on without giving a shout out to our partner sponsor in organic. Oh my goodness, I just called them the wrong name almost. Panel
Flashback.
Bound Comics. Yes, Flashback, formerly known as Organic Priced Books. Panel Bound Comics is a small business that brings the savings to you, the consumer, with our hardcovers, our collected editions, trade paperbacks, omnibus, anything you're looking for in collected edition, they've got it and they can hook you up, not just from the major outlets like DC and Marvel, but also the independents like IDW, Boom Studios, Dynamite Comics, Dark Horse. If you need it, they've got it. And they're looking to bring those savings to you, like I said. And if you're looking for a way to support this show, you can go find all kinds of comics and graphic novels, hardcovers. Save yourself some money and support us as you're doing that. In fact, pretty sure they still have copies of The Death of Superman, the recent Absolute Edition that we're going to be talking about today, in stock at Panel Bound Comics. So go check them out and support us while you do that. But Joe, let's get into it. The seminal comics event, The Death of Superman. All right, Joe. So this was released in single issues. I guess the Superman 75 was in January of 93. So between the end of 1992, the beginning of 93
Mhm.
is when this story arc happened in the comics, and individual issues sold like hotcakes for issue number 75 of Superman. We all know about the poly bags, the black bags with the red bloody dripping Superman emblem. But Joe, I mean, let's face it, you and I are talking about this book for a very specific reason. You and I purchased something recently, and it's like, okay, well, we made this purchase, so why not talk about it? Why, let's turn this into an episode if we're reading this huge book anyway. Um, so it's not an anniversary. Like 93 is kind of a weird mark from then till 2026. It's like the what 33rd year, 30
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
about. Yeah.
So, yeah, not an anniversary, but a recent release from DC. They did release a beautiful absolute edition of The Death of Superman. That's not only just the book, but a lot of features. They reproduced all of the extras and goodies that came in the blind in the poly bag
Hmm.
that came out in 1993. And then the version that you and I got, even probably the most morbid thing that I have in my collection, but also kind of cool, that the gigantic tombstone
Yeah.
for Superman that this book came in. So I mean that really sparked this episode. So Joe, I wanted to talk to you first about the Absolute Edition. How freaking cool is this book?
Well, ironically, I was going to ask you because I don't even own the original Superman 75. Um,
Really?
no, and what's weird to me is it's not hard to find. It's
No.
I like you were talking about how like it was such a big event. I think they pushed it so much they flooded the market with it. It's not a hard comic to get. It's not really worth that much money,
No.
which is kind of sad. Even if it's sealed, I think it's like $25 maybe. Sealed poly
I
bag.
I have a couple of copies of it,
Okay.
honestly.
Sealed?
I have one that's sealed, one that I opened.
Okay.
Specifically because I wanted to have one of them that was still in the bag.
Yeah.
For what reason? I don't know. Because it's like you said,
Yeah.
it's not particularly
It is
valuable.
a weird thing for me to admit that like I don't own it. Like I feel like I should have that, but
I
I
have the
don't.
I have the white poly bag too, and
Oh,
I
I
can't
didn't even know
remember
that anything about that.
what that's for. I'll have to go back and look because it's
Hmm.
been a few years since I've looked at it.
Yeah. And then you also have the omnibus, correct? You have the whole Death and Return
I
omnibus.
do. Yep, I have the
Yeah.
Death and Return omnibus, which we can get into the differences. But
Well, the only reason I brought that up was that released for an anniversary? Was that 2 years ago?
oh, it might have been 3 years
Or I
ago.
mean 3 years ago for the
It might
30th.
have
Yeah.
been right around the 30th
Okay.
anniversary.
Because
Yeah.
it is weird that this was not released on an anniversary.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the omnibus was, to my best recollection, which even that was like a third printing of the,
Oh, okay.
but they've changed different, like it's got different mapping with what
Yeah.
books are included. The cover's different. It's all different.
Yeah.
Um, but this Absolute Edition, you're right. It replicates I still think the comic, the single issue Superman 75 is very iconic, even
Yeah.
though it's not very valuable.
Hmm.
In the 90s, this was a problem with comic books in general, was they printed so much of everything.
Well, I would argue that's not a problem. I think it's admirable, to be honest with you, that they weren't doing it to create resale value.
No, no, what they did, and this is man,
Oh,
this is an entire tangent.
they were okay, so they were probably doing the opposite. Where
Yeah,
they were selling it at crazy amount of numbers because they were pushing it as an event.
yeah, they saw it very clearly in the late 80s, the very early 90s, is that people were collecting comic books
Hmm.
as a investment.
And people were falling for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, so around
Yes.
this time they just started printing. And it's still a thing today. I mean,
Oh yeah.
honestly,
Look at Three Jokers with all the covers and
dude, and I keep falling for it
oh
because
yeah.
they just relaunched Daredevil with a number one, and they have this blind bag thing,
Hmm.
like True Believers blind bag. It's got all kinds of different variant covers. I bought a bunch of them because
I'm
I'm a
still
sucker.
I so I once I basically decided to stop, I haven't gone back at all. So I've been very good with it where I stopped cold turkey. I have not bought a single issue in a long time.
Well, yes, I get that. But then they get you with because like the Daredevil thing, and I know this is a tangent, but there's there's Charlie Cox signed issues in these blind
Oh,
bags.
so that's a possibility. Yeah.
There's John Bernthal signed covers in these blind bags.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, yeah, they got me. And did I get anything special? No, I didn't. But I got some cool covers, so
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, so this game was afoot in 1993, and they sold like crazy, even though they're not very valuable. They sold a ton of copies, but there's still, like you said, there's copies available today,
Yeah.
and for cheap. I think I bought both of mine back a few years ago for like $10 a pop, and they were
Hmm.
both completely sealed. So, but to replicate what we got in 1993, we get this beautiful Absolute Edition. And if you swung for, and they got us again, Joe, because if you swung for the Tombstone, which you and I did, that you not only get the Tombstone, which opens with a magnetic flap, and the book is encased inside, but the book was encased in a poly bag,
Hmm.
just like the comic, except three times the size. And we had all those goodies in there. We had the trading card, and we had the armband with the bloody red S on it. And what else do we have in there? We had a newspaper clipping.
There was the
Um,
artwork, which was the
Dan Jurgens.
that was an exclusive to the Tombstone edition,
Yep,
correct? Yeah.
yep, yep. There was
Um,
a sketch, signed sketch
yeah.
from Dan Jurgens.
There was a lot of cool stuff. I'll be honest with you, I haven't even begun to dive into all of the extras. The the story itself is pretty concise. They didn't add any of the additional stuff into the Absolute. Nothing from
No,
Return, nothing from The Funeral for a Friend. It is strictly the death of Superman.
but you do get. It's not just it's not just issue 75.
Oh, no, no, I'm sorry. No, you get all the lead up. And I like that they give you the last few pages of, let me look at the actual issue number. I don't know if you noticed that that's what they were doing. Um, Man is still 17. So
Yeah,
that's just the final few issues of when Doomsday is pounding on the wall.
it's doomed. It's Doomsday's technical first
Escape first
cameo
appearance.
appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it takes off in Superman the Man of Steel 18. Um, and then it goes into Action Comics. Geez, we've got the number in here. I can't remember what the number is. Either way, you get is it four issues? Because you get the Justice League of America. There's
Make it
issue
five.
issue 69. Yeah, yeah,
I
it
think it's
is
five
five
issues.
issues, leading into Superman number 75.
Yeah.
Um,
Because
so
Superman 75 is only a 20 something page issue. It's not a double size issue, correct?
it is not. No, it's a
No.
normal sized issue,
You
but
could
it
argue it's actually a shorter. It's just splash page after splash page, that issue, which I never realized until reading it this time.
well, it's very intentional
Oh,
because
100%.
yeah, they wanted the art in that issue just to get bigger and bigger and
Yeah.
bigger as they went. And it does. I mean, it's very effective. And then you end on the fold out,
Yes.
which just like the original comic had the fold out
Hmm.
of Lois Lane holding Superman
Yeah.
as he
Did you
dies.
ever notice that it's actually given away on the prior page in the TV?
Yes. Yes. Have noticed that.
Yeah. I've only read this once before. So
Really?
this was like reading it. I mean, I know of the story, obviously. So, uh, but this was pretty much, all the extra stuff and all the details felt like I was reading it for the first time.
Yes, because there's so many. I mean, there's interviews in this thing. There's, the whole section from Dan Jurgens at the beginning of the book is fascinating. Just reading how um it was a brand new idea, really. I mean, not killing Superman, because that had been an idea apparently multiple times at DC,
Hmm.
but the idea of taking multiple creative teams on multiple titles and working on one cohesive story.
Hmm.
Today, that's not really new because they do that all the
Yeah, that's
time.
kind of fascinating that this was the first time that had been done.
Yeah. Because I mean, today, they do events all the time where you have to pick up, you know, Batman and Detective Comics and
Yeah.
Justice League and whatever. You have to pick up all the books to complete the event.
Yeah, you could argue this was the beginning of the end because that I wish we kind of had less of that. I mean, this was done the right way, I feel, for an event like this, but it seems like it's become too common nowadays.
I absolutely agree. I think it should be saved for something really, really special.
Yeah,
And I
like
feel like,
something we might go back to in 33 years as opposed to something we're going to forget in two.
yeah, because I think of things like, and this is no shade to the story itself, but I think of things like Joker War. Like,
Yeah,
do I feel the need to reread that every few years? No.
yeah.
Um, but I mean, I will reread this, even though I mean,
To that point, I'd argue I might be more willing to read Joker War if it was a concise story.
sure, but that's the point. Like
Yeah,
this has enough appeal where you know it's important enough that it
yes.
should have been an event.
Hmm.
I would say something like Infinite Crisis or something like that. I can go with that. Um, but yeah, some of these books just don't need to be an event, but I feel like it's a thing now where they have to
Yeah.
have an annual event. And you're right, this kind of kicked it off. But what do you, I mean, I don't think you and I have ever like other than talking about, and this is great because this kind of falls in the territory where we're ironing out our details for our Justice League, our Zack Snyder's Justice League
Hmm.
episode. So if you guys are listening and thinking, "Hey, I thought they were doing that next," it's coming. It's coming. Sorry, we've had some planning phases. There's actually something cool we're doing with that. So be patient. But this fall's kind of neat because we were just talking about Doomsday on our Batman v Superman episode, so
Yeah.
it's very timely for the anniversaries we are covering, bookending this story so far as our episodes. But I don't think you and I have ever really talked about like this specific comic,
Hmm.
even off the air.
No, I don't. I
We've
don't think we have.
You and I've never talked about Doomsday outside of BVS
Or Superman
and
and
or
Lois.
Superman and
Yeah.
Lois. So I'm curious, like when was the first time? Because I think you said you've read this story once. Is that right? When was
Yeah,
the
I
first
read
time
it.
you read it?
I've read it a few years back.
Okay.
Probably around the time I was watching Krypton, to be honest with you.
So you had not even read this when you saw BVS for the first time.
Now my timeline might be wrong. So I probably read. Oh, that's a good question. Did I just read The Death of Superman at one point and then go back and read the entire saga of The Death and Return? I had to have. I don't remember, to be honest with you. I really don't remember the first time I've read this particular story. I remember reading the entire story of The Death and Return on DC Universe Infinite. So that's pretty recent,
Hmm.
obviously. Um, so if I did read this a long time ago, it was like a skim through, and I was probably like, I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know what the hell's going on. It was probably like too early in my comic reading to appreciate it.
Hmm.
And I'll be honest with you, nothing much has changed since that first time because I still don't know who the hell most of these people are in this book.
Yeah, that's a
And we
good
can get
point.
into that, but that is my biggest problem with this book, but also kind of the most charming part of this book is it is very much of its time.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um, but I do think going back to it and reading it now, it does kind of stink that it was kind of like the Justice League B team or C team or D team.
yeah. It was the Scrubs for
And I
sure.
don't know enough about what was going on in Justice League at that time in the comics where, I mean, I couldn't even tell you the names of some of the characters in this book, and I just read it yesterday.
I was gonna say the same thing. It's one thing
I
because
kept forgetting that the one guy wasn't Mr. Terrific.
yeah,
Like, that's how bad it is. Like,
Bloodwind, I think
yeah.
is his name. So that's
Maxima, obviously, I know of Maxima, but I don't know her well. And then what is it? Fire and someone?
well, Guy Gardner, Green Lantern,
Yeah, but
is
or did they
there.
just call one of the women Fire? And is that Maxima that they were calling Fire? Or
I'll be honest. This is something that and it's not issue 75 because that's contained. It's
For
all,
the most part, that's contained. It talks about how the league is down.
yeah, but
Um, but the early issues of this book are a little rough because it's all about Doomsday taking out the Justice League at the time.
yeah. There's a
And
Booster Gold is there, Blue Beetle is there.
yes,
Um,
obviously we know them. We know Guy Gardner, who is
mhm.
not Green Lantern. He's just, what was his name at the time? He had a name, but I don't remember what it was.
They just
They
I
just call him Guy Gardner, though.
yeah, they just call him Guy Gardner.
Actually, at this point, he might have just been Guy Gardner. He might not have even been that other character that he becomes at one point. Um,
Well, and I do appreciate though in the story they because they lay out that he's not as strong as he was as a Green Lantern.
mhm.
So I mean,
Yeah, there's enough there to enjoy the book. It's just
yeah,
I don't know these characters, and also it starts with like the aftermath of a War World battle
yeah. And there's
that
War
I am
World
not
Tech.
familiar with. You get the crazy Supergirl clone in here.
There's
The Luther story with that.
Underworlders.
I'm sorry, she's
Uh,
not even a clone. Is she an alien clone? I don't even remember the Supergirl stuff. This was a really weird time with the Supergirl stuff.
this is a really weird time for DC overall.
This is Lex Luthor Jr.,
Yeah,
not the same Lex Luthor, but I don't even remember if this Luthor becomes our Luthor or was the Luthor the whole time.
I would have to go back honestly to the omnibus and read the whole thing because they lay it out pretty well
Okay.
in the whole story.
Hmm.
Um, in the Death and Return, but yeah, in just this, just reading it in the absolute, honestly, the up until you get to 75, it's just like, okay, I got to get through this. Mainly, I'm reading it to see what Doomsday is doing
Yes.
up until Superman and him meet up.
And the whole, like, I don't want to say it's boring because I don't think it's a boring story. It's so action heavy though that like I wish there was a little bit more to it than that. But it's all set up. It's all building and building and building. And that was what they were trying to do. Does it work as a story that we're going back to 30 years later where we don't know what's going to happen? The also That's also another thing that's kind of interesting is that everyone knew this was the death of Superman. So like did we all that's almost kind of anticlimactic too, is they knew what was happening. It wasn't like you were waiting and waiting and waiting to see what would happen.
But there's the thing, like
Like did people still doubt it at the time?
I don't
I'm
know,
assuming.
but when's the last time you remember, if ever, that a comic book storyline, something that was happening in a comic, was national news.
The last time I
Global.
remember is Robin's death.
I mean, it takes events like that. And I
Yes.
don't even think Robin's death was a blip like this was. Because I mean,
No.
you can see you can just
This was
search,
pop culture. I mean,
yeah,
this was everywhere. Yeah.
you could search YouTube for the death of Superman. You'll find people like
Yes.
TV news,
You always see the
like,
clips of people crying when they find that he dies and stuff. Like,
yeah, and it's like, wow,
yeah.
um, it doesn't happen nowadays. So you know
Mhm.
it's got to be something big to get that kind of attention. Um, but you can definitely, and I don't want to harp on this, but you can see why, like in the Death and Return of Superman, the animated two-parter that they did a few years ago, you can see why they s- they wanted to do that story with the actual Justice League.
Yeah, that was one that actually made sense to put it in continuity with the that storyline. And I actually really like that movie or the two-parter.
Yes,
Um, I also don't even think the original one is that bad. Uh, I haven't seen it in years. I put it on the other day.
Superman Doomsday.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
first one they ever did. It gets a lot of crap, and I get it. It's rushed, it's quick, but I don't think it's as bad as its reputation. But I will say with this, and I also let me specify before, when I said Robin's death, I actually meant Damien's death. That actually made some news when Damien died a few years ago. That was the last time I remember it, and nobody even realized who it was that was dying. Everyone
ooh,
assumed it was.
and I don't even think you can refer to that as a few years ago at this point, which
Oh,
kind
geez, yeah, that was probably like 15 years ago by now. Um, yeah, we're getting old. So, but with this, yeah, I, I mean, maybe it works better because you're not depowering the entire A-list Justice League, but I think that's what makes it more impactful is if we did care more about them. And maybe at the time this, people did care about these characters. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
hard because I didn't read it in 1993.
that's where I'm at too, because it feels like
We might be being harsh because
well
we didn't grow up with the story.
in the animated film, the two-parter, it feels so impactful because like the Justice Leaguers there, they're the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
So if Doomsday is taking them out, holy crap.
Hmm.
With this, it's like, okay, he's taking out Booster Gold.
Yeah.
I don't know how to equate that to how powerful he is until he takes on Superman.
And maybe this is me being a little cynical too, but he didn't kill any of them. So
Yeah.
that to me is a little, I don't think anticlimactic is the right word, but it's almost kind of like, okay, so the only one that dies in this entire battle with this huge monstral being is Superman, who has to sacrifice himself to stop this being. I get it. That's the whole point of the story, is you don't want to take away from the impact of Superman's death. Um,
Well, he put one of them in a coma or
yeah.
something, I think. But I think the point of that was Superman arrived in time before he
So that he
could.
didn't kill any of the other people. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he punches Guy Gardner though, and I feel like Guy Gardner should be dead,
Oh, yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or he should have been the one in the coma.
Yeah. But I agree with you. That may
But
have
again,
taken
nitpicks,
away from the
complete nitpicks. I'm
impact.
just trying to be a little impartial with this, but
I'll
I,
tell
I,
you.
I did enjoy the story though, and I
Oh,
enjoy
yeah.
the interactions with the characters and what is being said, all the dialogue. There are definitely parts that are cheesy, but I don't think it was overly 90s cheese either. I think it was pretty well done and pretty well handled.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing that I really love that I
Well, Superman
missed.
says one thing that bothered me. We'll get back to that.
Okay. Um, well, I'm going to switch topics. So go ahead. What
Okay.
was it?
I gotta look it up because it was like so out of it's such a it's such a cliche Boy Scout Superman thing, and I felt like it was in a very weird time, and I gotta find it now because I'm gonna screw it up. He calls him something like "You're gonna stop now, friend," or something, and I gotta find it because I can't remember what he says, and I'm annoyed that I can't remember what it was.
Oh, geez.
Say what you were gonna say. Oh, here
Um,
it is. It stops here, mister. I
oh,
just started laughing because he called Doomsday Mister. And I don't know why. I just thought that was funny.
I feel like that would be a line that David Cornsweet Superman would say.
Yes. And I think that bothered me though, because like in a dire situation like this, I feel like that's not the time that he would be saying Mister. But I see what your point is because that's exactly what I heard when he said Mister, is I heard Cornswet saying it, but not against the Doomsday. I heard him saying it against a normal foe, you know?
Oh, that kind of makes me like it just a little bit more, honestly. Because well, I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Because would Henry Cavill Superman ever say that? Absolutely not.
No.
But I feel like David Cornsweet's would, and it would fit the comic booky
Yeah.
style. What I was gonna say is this is something that I really miss in today's comics because you have and don't get me wrong, I love the individuality and the differences in art that you get today.
Hmm.
But I love that you've got different artists on these books, but they had a house style at the time,
Yeah.
and it feels like the same world from issue to issue to issue, even though you've got different artists.
And I don't think I even realized it was different artists because I just assumed it was Jurgens the whole time. Uh, I did see something though that you say that it says like final art by so and so, but it says art plan was a credit. It was something weird, and I didn't think about it until you just said that. I'll find it, and you can keep
Well,
talking.
what
I'm gonna
that's
look
probably
for.
referring to is because at this time, and I mean that this goes back to like, gosh, the 60s,
Hmm.
or before, but DC and Marvel, they had house styles.
Yeah.
They had guides of how you draw Superman, how you draw Batman, what have. So that's probably what that's referring to is
Yeah.
one artist set the guide and everybody else followed it.
Hmm.
But yeah, because you've got uh
Yeah,
Tom
it says
Grummett,
words and pictures. It says, and then finished art, Brett Breeding. So maybe is that their way of saying inkers
maybe.
or color? No, because so it says Jurgens, words and pictures, Brett Breeding, finished art. And then Costanza was letters and Whitmore was colors.
Yeah, but I mean, you can look at the four different books or five different books in here, and you can tell that different people drew Superman,
Hmm.
but it feels so close that it's consistent.
Yeah.
The world feels consistent amongst the stories. And I feel like today you could get one issue of an event that's drawn by, Riley Rossmo, and then you could get the next issue is Lee Bermejo.
Hmm.
And it's like you could not be any more different.
No.
S-
Yeah.
s- And it bothers me because
Yeah, because it's jarring. It really is jarring. I mean, even like we go back to like even some of the Snyder stuff, Snyder and Capullo stuff, when they had fill-in artists for Capullo, like it looks nothing like it. It was really frustrating with that, with some of the stuff. And
yeah.
then or it was just an event book, it wasn't even a fill-in necessarily, but it was an event and you had to read that event to make it make sense, or I'm sorry, the tie-in book to make it make sense. And it just kind of takes you out of it a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean it bugs me because I think Batman Eternal is a fantastic book from the New 52.
Yeah.
It's a really good omnibus. I love that book, but it's so different artistically, not only book to book,
Yeah.
but to the main title that
Yeah.
it throws you off.
Well, that one was a weekly book for 52 weeks, I think. So they had every artist on that book to get it ready, probably. And
Yeah.
yeah, instead of just having it done years in advance, so they make sure it's ready, but that's not what they do.
Yeah, but I mean you can pick up any Superman book from the early 90s. They
Oh,
all
they have
look
the same style.
they
Yeah.
all look like this.
Hmm.
I mean, so and that's so cool because you can tell what era you're reading
Yeah,
by
it's
looking
definitely
at it.
cool looking back for us from our standpoint. That does have that, even though we didn't grow up on it, it does give you that kind of like nostalgic feel of that
Yeah.
era.
And while we're talking about the art, I mean, when you get into Superman number 75 in the absolute that you and I have, that art as it gets bigger and bigger
Hmm.
and bigger
It's beautiful.
in the omnibus format is so cool. It
Yeah,
looks
Jurgens kills it on that issue. And I was just noticing as we were talking, flipping through the back of the omnibus, they have the entire issue, I think, without ink and then inks added in
yeah.
the back, which is incredible to go through each frame of that issue and see it just the black and white images with the coloring, with the letters added to it. I'm sorry, without the coloring, but just with the inks and the letters added over top of just the sketch. Really cool seeing all that. I mean, this thing is packed with so much stuff. I didn't even really dive into most of it. I just read the actual story to do this episode, but this thing would keep me busy for days.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean it's even got you were talking about the pencils. I mean you're looking at the pencils. The pencils have the fold out in the back.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so I mean it folds out just like the comic, but it's Dan Jurgens raw
Oh
pencils.
yeah.
Um
Wow.
so and it's the copy of his writing, his drawing paper because you can see the titles at the top and
Yeah.
which panel. It's so cool. Oh yeah, the final inks have the fold out too. So there's multiple fold outs in this
Yeah.
book. Um but yeah, I'd have to go back and I'm sure it's the same way, but I'd have to go back and look at the comic itself. I think it's the exact same way, but you even like in the beginning of issue 75, you have the frames. So you have white edges around the book
Hmm.
that continue to get smaller and
Yeah.
smaller and smaller until it's just wall to wall, side to side art
Hmm.
from top to bottom. And that's I don't know that I've ever seen that in any other comic.
Yeah, I don't even think I noticed that, to be honest with
Yeah, I
you.
mean,
But you're right. Yeah, it's really cool.
yeah, I mean every border slowly disappears.
Yeah.
So I mean, so you can tell this was such an event that they just
They put a
that
lot of thought into every little detail that they did.
yeah, and they let Jurgens go crazy with the art in this issue. Um, Doomsday. We said we were going to talk about Doomsday, so I'm curious because you and I have talked about like the art choices of Doomsday
Hmm.
in BVS. And I've said many times I am not a fan of how he looks in
Hmm.
that movie. There's places like the show Krypton that I think did a great job with how he looks. And Superman and Lois did a great job with how he looks. But I really like how he looks in the comic, and I'm curious, like just as a villain, because it's not like you get a huge arc with Doomsday. He has one purpose.
Hmm.
I know there are stories later. I've honestly never read them. This is the only story I've ever read with Doomsday. So, what are your thoughts on him as a character?
So again, I applaud them for doing something different and something bold with introducing a character with no backstory just to to accomplish this goal that they needed.
Yeah,
Um, but another part of me thinks I wish they didn't. So like it's one of those things where I like the realism of it. And that's going to sound really stupid, but I like the fact that this crazy alien being that we know nothing about just comes to Earth and Superman just has to stop it. No question. Like we don't have time for a backstory. We don't have time to talk to this guy. We don't have time to reason with him. He's just causing destruction and Superman has to save the world. I love the idea of that.
hmm
The concept of that sounds awesome and it should be applauded for that idea. But I think from a story standpoint, we know what Doomsday is now. Or maybe you don't if you didn't read a lot of stuff on Doomsday. Um,
again, this is the only thing I have ever read with
so,
Doomsday in it.
and I think I like the unknown from a comic reader standpoint. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
and I feel like you're about to ruin the mystery, but that's fine. Go
No,
ahead.
I won't.
No, go ahead, because the listeners probably know. I will tell you.
So from what
Okay.
I understand with Doomsday is he was created. I'm trying to even remember now. Was he created on Krypton? And it was
See,
like over and over again, they kept killing this being so he would mutate to avoid being killed.
see, and
And
that's the part of different versions of Doomsday that I like less.
mhm,
Not that I like the way he's used in BVS, but the giving him a backstory of oh he's tied to Krypton.
mhm,
I don't need it.
yeah.
You know, like, and I think Krypton, the TV show, might have done the same
No,
thing.
so as far as I know, there is only one backstory to Doomsday. There's not multiple. That's his backstory. I just don't
Okay,
remember if I'm right or not.
okay, for
Um, I know it has something to do with him being created as a Doomsday monster, basically, and
mhm.
it was an evolution thing where they just kept killing him. He would evolve to avoid being killed that way, and he would just get better and better and better and better. He was like basically tortured, died, came back, died, came back, died, came back, something like that. Um, I actually want to say Jamie recommended me the story. Is it
There's something
Prey?
Doomsday Hunter Prey, I think is what it's
Something
called.
like that.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where it tells the backstory. I've never read another Doomsday comic though where Doomsday is a villain. And I feel like that is where I lose interest. Doomsday should not be a character that comes back. That's where I have a little trouble with it. I'm
Yeah.
okay with getting a backstory for him and learning what he is, But yeah, again, I'm torn on everything because I do love the fact that he is just this thing. He came, he killed Superman, Superman killed him, and then we never learned. Because how would we learn about it other
Yeah.
than I don't know the story. I don't remember if like Luther studied the animal and learned about it. I don't know.
Well, and it's that way with a lot of things, honestly. It's
But there's a
it's
story there, so they have to tell it. That's really what it is.
yeah, but it's to me it's more interesting with the unknown.
Hmm.
Like you said, I mean, we don't have time to ask this creature, why are you
Yeah, and
destroying
I don't think he's
everything?
telling you. Yeah.
No, and he's not going to tell you. He can't really. We have no idea if he can even communicate.
And
But
that's
we
where, from a realistic standpoint, I love the fact that we technically had no way of knowing from a realistic standpoint
exactly.
as an Earthling, this being comes, we have no way of really knowing.
There was one solution to the problem.
Yeah.
Um, and I like that so much that I feel like it kind of diminishes the impact of that by
Mhm.
then giving him more story.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Honestly, you should never find out. And I know they have, and they've got different versions of it, but you should never find out what's in Wolverine's past. Keeps him more interesting that
Yeah.
way. I just there's all kinds of different stories, not just in comics, but all over fiction where it's lessened when you answer the question.
Yeah.
I feel like. But so far as just how he's presented here, you like Doomsday.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I
Yeah.
really do. Yeah. I like how his design, the again, the suit was so weird because it's not explained. He's just in this suit and then it's tearing apart. I think that's just a cool way of revealing him slowly.
Yeah. I
I
do
think
too.
I think that's just what that was the reason. Like, and I think that's what gave them so much freedom is there was no story there. Let's just do whatever fits our story.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's even in that beginning section there's like discussions on the design where Jurgens basically said like he went as crazy as possible with the spikes and everything, knowing he would probably get told, take a little bit away here, do this, do that,
Hmm.
and the editor at the time was like, nope, go for it, looks great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go
um,
crazy, go for everything
yeah,
and just make it work for the story.
yeah, and so yeah, I mean, it's it really makes me want to when I get to the end of the I mean I think the cool part about now that there's this whole collected death and return of Superman because they
Hmm.
did continue the story and we get into the black suit and all that good stuff. That's the only downside to the Absolute Edition is you can't go on.
No.
It is contained. It honestly made me want to pull the omnibus off the shelf, but I do not have time for that right now. Such a time commitment. Because let
Yeah.
me tell you, it's a journey.
Oh yeah, I remember doing it, and I remember being lost through it a lot. I mean, it's vast.
It is. It's an epic, honestly. I mean, going from the setup of Doomsday all the way to Superman actually um returning and dealing with the reign of the Supermen,
Hmm.
it's a like Tolkien type length tale. It's
Yeah,
huge. But I know people say, it was cheap, it's a cheap trick or whatever to kill
kill him and bring him
Superman.
back.
He was gone for a good bit.
Yeah, a year, right?
I think it was roughly a year.
Yeah,
Yeah. And there was a lot of titles without him and the whole mystery of who are these other Supermen.
and I think everyone thought one of them was the real Superman, or that was what
Yeah.
they were pulling. Was one of them is the real one, and the others are an imposter.
Yeah, and then you slowly they reveal that
Yeah,
the actual Superman is in the Fortress of Solitude. He's
yeah.
in the is it regeneration suit?
Regeneration chamber, solar regenerative chamber, something
And
like
he's
that.
in the
Yeah,
black suit with
yeah,
the
yeah.
killer 90s mullet. So, um, so Joe, in the years that have followed this story, I mean, we've talked a little bit about the different adaptations that we've had, but this has touched everything from animated films, live action films to TV over the years. I mean, we've seen it in two different animated films.
Hmm.
We've seen this in a live action film. and we've seen it in Superman and Lois most recently, which technically had two different references to this and kind of amalgamated the story into Bizarros.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so I mean, just do you have a out of all those, do you have a favorite adaptation
Hmm.
of Doomsday or the death of Superman?
So that's interesting. I mean, my favorite's going to be BVS just because of I think that's the one where I feel it the most. But
Hmm.
I will say The Death and Return, the animated film, is taking this story and modernizing it to the best straight up adaptation I think we could have possibly asked for. The Death and Return completely. I mean, I think that animated film is excellent. I really do love that film.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really good.
that's not to take away anything from Superman and Lois because I do like what they did on that. Uh, I just think I would have to choose one of either BVS or the animated film because just for I mean they're just so different. And Superman and Lois did its own thing. I just
Oh, and to be fair, I don't want to leave it out. Two TV adaptations technically because you did get Doomsday and Krypton. So
yeah, but there's no Superman character, so there's no death of Superman. That's
right,
where it's
but
yeah.
Doomsday's there.
Yeah. And obviously like Superman and Lois did its own thing. I can't like, he didn't die in that. Did he?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he was gone for 2 episodes, if I remember right, 2 or 3 episodes.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was done differently. Again, they did their own thing. It was the last one to do it, so they had to do their own thing. They had to do something different. I think I like the fact that I think I love the fact that for BVS when we found out Doomsday was the villain, it was like, how could they not kill him? But like it never even crossed my mind. And then with with the animated film, I think they just figured out what worked the best from this story and took it and ran with it. Like as far as adaptations go, I think that is my answer. I
hmm
just will always love BVS and the heart of that movie and what it meant for that Superman. But I get choked up watching the animated film too. I
yeah.
think that film surprised me. I didn't expect that movie, which again, that universe had its flaws. We had our problems with that universe. We didn't even get a lot of Superman in that universe. We got a lot of Batman movies. We got Superman in the Justice League movies in that
Boy,
universe.
boy, if we knew what was coming next, we might have appreciated that universe a lot more.
Yes. Yeah, we have nostalgia for that universe now,
Yeah,
ironically. And I do think that that I was surprised again how emotional I got watching that movie because I think they did everything right with that movie. And that character, they took their time with the two-parter, dedicating a whole first part to just this arc
hmm
was really smart, showing us his love for Lois, giving Superman his time before he died in that movie. I think was really smart for that adaptation. And I have fun with the return too. I really do have fun with all the other characters. Again, modernizing everything from the books and streamlining the return
yeah,
because that's where it gets a little crazy in the comic is it's long and meandering. But I do and I've been meaning to revisit it. I just haven't had time because it is 3 hours to watch that.
yeah, and everything you said is valid, and I honestly like all of those adaptations with the exception of Krypton. I don't dislike Krypton, but I've only seen bits and pieces of the first season, so
Mhm.
never even got to Doomsday.
Yeah.
But
The
from
best design of Krypton, hands down. I mean, I'm sorry, of Doomsday, hands down.
see for me that's Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
But
I get it, but I think the Doomsday design on Krypton is perfect.
and I'd have to watch it. But for me, my favorite adaptation is Superman and Lois.
Shocking nobody.
Shocking no one. And I like all of them, but I really just like what they did with. I mean, it was a different character, but that character ended up becoming Doomsday. So
Mhm.
we got the intro of him in the suit from when Doomsday appeared in the comic.
Yeah.
back in season two. We had no idea that that character was then going to become Doomsday in the final season.
Yeah, like this slow burn
Yeah.
that we never thought was coming.
Yeah, but then I mean you get what I would say is a very comics accurate looking Doomsday
Hmm.
in that show, and he does kill Superman. I mean Superman comes back, but we get
He
the
always
death.
comes back.
He always comes back. We get the death of Superman in that show, and I think just spending just it was natural. Spending so much time with that Superman made it really impactful when he died. I think partially, well, in a big way because he did have a family
Hmm.
and he had boys. You know,
Yeah.
so it was just I don't know. It's one of my favorite Superman things ever. So like you said, no surprise that it's my favorite adaptation.
Mhm.
But it goes to show you, I mean, there's so many different pieces of the legacy that have stood the test of time from this story. So I think it'll always, I know we're going to come back around to it at some point, but I honestly, it's one of those things kind of like Dark Superman or Black Suit Superman or quote unquote evil Superman. I hope it's one of those things that gets a rest for a little bit because we've seen a lot of it, honestly.
I'm trying to refresh my memory of the Krypton look versus the Superman and Lois look. And at the time, I guess the Krypton look was the best. I don't know. Superman and Lois is pretty damn good.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But anyway, I think that's a good place to tie a bow on this episode for the death of Superman. But I want to give you a final word. You got anything just final to wrap up with on this story?
Um, I I love that we got this absolute just to have an excuse to go back and give this story some time. I mean, it's only 5 issues, whatever it is, and it's a quick read, but with the absolute, it kind of forces me to slow down and take it all in. I have a lot more to take in now with all the extras in this and that but the story itself, again, it is just such a huge part of DC Comics, the storyline that they told with the death of Superman. It kind of did pave the way for these crazy events, but this
Hmm.
was the one that really stuck and had some impact. I mean, I guess Nightfall was right after this, which is like the Batman equivalent,
Yeah.
right? Where they took
Yeah.
Batman off they didn't kill Batman, but they took him off. So like they kind of did the same thing there. But I don't think that had the same impact this did. I mean, this was huge. And I think the story does warrant the reputation it's had. Because I don't think when people look back at this story, they don't think about our nitpicks that we're talking about. They think about the impact of the death of Superman culturally and the imagery of this book.
The flat, yeah, the cape,
Yeah.
you know, fluttering on the piece of steel or whatever, you know, the rod.
So
It's
that's my favorite poster from Zack Snyder's Justice League is the Justice League flag.
hmm
They use the
the
imagery from
homage to
Superman.
this.
Yeah, I love that. To pay tribute to this, you know.
They even did that in a completely different storyline in Superman and Lois. They had
Oh,
the news from the alternate world of Lois holding
that was the
Superman.
Elseworlds. Was that Elseworlds or Crisis? Was that Crisis on
No,
Infinite
no,
Earths?
it was in Superman and Lois. It was they
I
were
thought that was part of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
oh maybe it was.
Yeah, that was one of the crossovers.
Maybe why did I think it
Yeah,
was in Superman and Lois?
that was one of the
Anyway,
crossovers. Yep, because it was a different world. Yep.
yeah, but they even did that there
Yeah.
with the cape
Yep.
on the pole. So yeah, just it has really stood the test of time. But like I said, I could use a break from it. Not reading the story, but
Yeah, no, because it has been done so much lately.
yeah,
It's become like the new Long Halloween for Superman, where everyone wants to tell their version of the death of Superman.
yeah, yeah. And I don't want to see. I honestly I don't think we need to see Corn Sweat's Superman die at this
Mhm.
point. We're okay.
Yeah.
We've seen it enough. But so far as the story itself, I mean, it just yeah, 33 years later, it holds up. It's got some It's got some wonkiness, but I enjoy it every time I read it. So, and I'm glad I've got this edition now where if I don't want to dive into the entire saga, I can just read this.
Hmm.
And I've got it covered from the start of Doomsday to the end of the death of Superman. So, all right, Joe. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for reading through your absolute like because you needed an excuse to read through what you bought. So I appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Ironically, that is very accurate because sometimes I buy these damn things and they just sit on my shelf. So I'm happy to go through it for a reason like this. It was a lot of fun to sit down and read it. And I'm trying to really make a conscious effort to read more comics instead of doom scrolling on my phone. So that's my mission in the next coming weeks. I just told you. I'll tell you on air. So if anyone wants to hear this, The Batman First Night was a really fun read, and it's Dan Jurgens writing Batman. I
Yeah.
recommend that to everybody. It's only 3 issues. Each issue's like 50 something pages. Really cool story. Definitely recommend that. That was my read last weekend. I'm looking for something new now, so I'll report back with you in a little bit.
Nice. Oh, I have read that one.
Oh, you have?
I just looked at the cover. Yes, it's
Oh,
really
okay. Yeah,
good.
it's not new. It's been out a while, but
But they just produced a sequel to it.
oh, didn't even know that. Okay,
Yeah, so there you go. That might be what you need to look up next.
there you go.
But yeah, I appreciate it. The book, like you said, it's good to have a reason to pull it off the shelf. I will say I don't know how often I'm going to do it because one thing we didn't mention is how tough it is to get the slip cover on and off of this book.
The cape.
The tattered cape slip
Mine
cover.
is sitting on my table right now, and I'm scared to death to touch the damn thing. It makes me nervous. I was actually trying to decide what to do with it. Where I like, but there's nowhere to put it. Like, can I just throw it in the tombstone? And that's what I'm considering doing.
I I slid it back into the slipcase for now, and then when I'm done with the book, I'm just going to put it back on, put it back in there, and
Because I don't keep the slipcase in the tombstone. I keep the slipcase on my shelf.
me too. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm considering I'm gonna try to put it in the tombstone, I think, to see what
Okay.
happens.
All
But yeah,
right.
and it's so cool. Again, another cool little effect on there that was really fun. But yeah, we're nerding out over the art of this book and the book
Yeah,
itself.
I
Yeah.
might have to post pictures of the whole kit and caboodle when we
Yeah.
publish this episode. But thanks, Joe. Let everybody know where they can find you out there on social media.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at jforn11 and on Facebook at Joe Fornerato, Fornarotto.
Awesome. As for myself, you can find my personal accounts on most of the social media platforms. Just look me up, me Carter 89. That's me Carter 89. The show can be found on all those same platforms. Again, just search TFR Batpod. If you're looking for a way to support this show, we don't ask that you spend a dime on this show, but if you'd like to, you can go to redbubble.com, search Shop TFR, all one word, and you'll find our merch there created by, with our logos created by Justin Kowalski. If you're looking for the easiest and free way to support the show, the best way to do that is to leave us a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. If you leave that review on Apple Podcasts, we will read those on the show. You can also send us emails. Just send those to tfrbatpod at gmail.com. Our theme music was created by the very talented Gaurav Venkateswar, and his music is at gvtunes.com. That's going to do it for this episode covering the death of Superman. For Joe, I'm Eric, and until next time, make sure you keep that bat signal lit and pointed skyward. Batman was created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane and is the sole property of Warner Brothers Discovery. The Fire Rises, a Batman podcast, is in no way associated with DC Comics, DC Studios, or Warner Brothers Discovery. The thoughts and opinions of the participants of this show are their own and do not reflect the companies that they work for. Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Oh, welcome, citizens of Gotham, to The Fire Rises, a Batman podcast Try that again.
I
Reset.
thought you heard something.